Hi everyone, this is Ms. Granger. In this video, we're going to go over the optional paragraph all about the counter argument. This is for the Unit 4 summative assessment on the Age of Revolutions. So if you're doing this paragraph, you understand that this is optional, meaning you do not have to do it. However, if you want to earn a 7 or an 8, this would be required to earn that A, 7 or 8. So we're looking at this optional paragraph about the counter argument. It is in the same kind of organization as we've done for the other paragraphs. So we've got the information on the left and a place for you to write on the right. We'll start with the topic sentence. For the counter argument, this is slightly different. A counter argument is an opposing argument that states the opposite of what the original argument was. This is done to acknowledge another viewpoint. Including a counter argument shows an audience that you are not narrow-minded and that you are willing to engage in conversation. So our suggested sentence starter sounds like this. Some might argue that, and you would insert the opposite of your thesis from paragraph 1. So if you argued that that revolutions are more positive in your thesis, in your counter argument, I should see some might argue that revolutions are all negative, or whatever. Whatever the opposite is, you put that here. The next one is the evidence. Again, this is pretty similar, but you'll want to find evidence that makes sense. So you're introducing a specific example that supports your topic sentence. The topic sentence, again, was the opposite of your thesis. Remember, if you're quoting, use quotation marks. If you're summarizing, you don't need to do that. All the evidence should still come from the primary source documents. You can use these sentence frames. So for example, in the source, and you'll state the source, the author explains or describes that, whatever, and you explain what it is. Your analysis is going to be where you're really arguing kind of the opposite, I suppose. So why is the evidence the opposite of your thesis? Explain clearly, don't repeat yourself. Remember, you're trying to argue the opposite of your original thesis to acknowledge the other side. Then you'll want to include this sentence that's called the counter to the counter argument. When we say the word counter in this case, it means against. So you're doing an against argument against the argument. It's a little much, but go with me. You'll refute the opposing view by reiterating your original argument, in other words, your thesis from paragraph 1. And then you'll explain why that counter argument is wrong. So you might want to start with, despite this evidence, and then go back to your original thesis statement here, and explain why. So again, explain why the counter argument is not right. From there, you'll go into the closing sentence, which is the same thing as your other body paragraphs, rephrasing your topic sentence, but then kind of doubling down on your original thesis. Another way that you would be earning, or you could earn an 8, a 7, or an 8, is in your body paragraphs. Your regular body paragraphs is to add this additional example of evidence and analysis. So you would also consider doing that as well if you're trying to earn the 8. Good luck, and be sure to check with your teacher if you have more questions.